Welcome to our Google AdWords tutorial. In our third video, we'll take you on a guided tour of the AdWords system. In this video, I'll conduct a guided tour of the Google AdWords system. For a first-time user, it can be a little overwhelming, but this video will teach you about each area and how the various features are used. This should help you get up and running with the AdWords system a lot more quickly. First, notice that there are 4 tabs at the top of the page. Campaign Management, which is where your advertising campaigns are created, managed, and even deleted if that's what you need to do. Reports, which is where you can create all sorts of different reports. If I click this now, you'll see that there are no reports available at this time. But if I click Create a Report Now and scroll down, you can see that you have a great many options. They really can give you a great deal of data, and they can be pretty involved, so you do need to be quite familiar with the AdWords system before you can benefit from these reports. Next is Analytics, which is also a fairly advanced topic. If we click and go to the Analytics page, you'll see that you need to enter your website information for it to become active. Effectively, Google gives you a small piece of code to add to each page of your website that will then track exactly what's happening on your site and present that information for you here. For example, you can see exactly how many visitors you're getting, where they're coming from, how many are returning visitors who come back more than once. It's a good AdWords tool to give you very detailed tracking to show you exactly how profitable your advertising is. Basically, it presents you with a huge amount of information about exactly what's happening on your site and with your Google advertising to help you get the best possible return on your investment. Finally, there's My Account. When you click, it takes you to your billing summary. Right now, you can see the $5 activation fee. There are also subheadings for each of these main tabs. If we stay on the My Account tab, you'll see that the subheads include this billing summary screen, billing preferences, the access screen where you can set up access for anyone else you want to be able to access your account, if anyone, and account preferences. Now let's go back to Campaign Management and take a quick guided tour of its features. First, this is the overview of your advertising campaign. On this drop-down tab, you can choose how much information you want to see, just from today, or yesterday, or last week, or whatever. It's up to you exactly how much information you want displayed here in the summary. Related to that, this drop-down menu will allow you to choose which campaigns are shown, the active campaigns, or all but the deleted campaigns, or all campaigns. For example, we've selected all campaigns so that this campaign number 1 is displayed here. But if I click on active campaigns instead, you'll see that this campaign will disappear from view since we haven't activated it yet. Let's click on All again. I neglected to mention that you do have the option of picking exactly the dates you want to view. So if you click here, you can choose, let's say, January 1st through February 22nd of 2007, or whatever other set of dates you desire. For now, let's just click back on All. If you want to create a new campaign, you click here, Create a New Campaign, if you want a keyword-targeted or site-targeted campaign. We'll cover this in much more detail later, but in a nutshell, keyword-targeted, where you choose the keywords you want to have your ad appear with, is the most common way of advertising. Let me give you an example. First, let's go to the Google main page. Let's type in an example. Let's say antique tables and hit search. All the ads that appear here at the top and on the right side of the page are keyword targeted. These advertisers all have set up keyword targeted campaigns. They've chosen to have their ads appear whenever these keywords are searched for. Without going into too much detail right now, some of these advertisers may have elected to appear just when tables is the search term, and others may have selected just antique. And some may have chosen to advertise on the entire phrase antique tables. It's difficult to tell which of these words, or both, these advertisers have selected to be associated with. As you'll see later, there's a lot of flexibility there when it comes to which keyword brings out the advertisement. But the point is simply that these are all keyword-targeted campaigns. Now let's return to Google AdWords. If I were to create a site-targeted campaign, that means you will only advertise on the sites you choose, and you're ignoring sites like Google and Gmail, and also huge partner sites such as Ask.com and Download.com. There are some less trafficked sites that display Google AdWords. For example, the site we used in the introduction, AskTheBuilder.com. To my knowledge, this is not a Google partner site, but they do have permission to display Google advertising, and they get a cut of the cost per click fee each time a visitor clicks on one of these ads. For example, let's say I'm selling roofing tiles. I can create a site-targeted campaign that would have my ad show up on this specific site or other specific sites that I think would be appropriate locations for my ad to appear. You might wish to consider that depending on the kind of advertising you do. Now let's go back to the campaign management page again. Let's look at our first advertising campaign. If you click here, you'll note that you can pause, resume, delete, and edit your campaign settings if you wish. I'll cover that later. You can also customize the view as well. For now, let's resume. And we see campaign successfully resumed. But since the details aren't correct for an active campaign, let's go in and change those now, and let me talk you through the process. Remember, you can create as many advertising campaigns as you wish. To use our previous example, you could create and structure an advertising campaign to sell roofing tiles if you wish, or another campaign just selling bricks. It's completely up to you how you structure your advertising campaigns. Before we go on, let's click on Selecting the Campaign, then Edit Settings. I won't go into all the details on this screen, which can get a little involved, including giving you the ability to pick exactly where your ad will appear, for example. But for now, I want to customize the campaign name. Let's say we want to call the campaign Antique Tables instead of the generic campaign number 1. And scroll down and save the changes. You see that the change has been made, and if I click on the campaign name, I'm taken to my ad group. Each advertising campaign you'll do has ad groups. You can add as many as you wish and structure them in any way you want. It's suggested that each ad group should be very tightly focused. I'll go into detail later, but for now, let's just walk through a quick example. First, let's check it and rename it. You can give it any name you choose, of course. In this case, let's call it Antique Tables Ad Group. That's fairly broad, but we'll leave it at that for now. Again, save those changes. Now let's click into this ad group. Remember, this example is a keyword-targeted campaign, so each ad group will have keywords associated with it. So if we click on keywords, you'll see our pretty obscure keyword phrase, three-legged tables. And it also has an ad associated with it. You can have multiple ads associated with an ad group, but in this case we only did one sample ad. So here are the basics. First, let's delete this irrelevant or obscure keyword phrase. Tell the system, yes, we're sure we want to do that. And add a more relevant keyword. So click on Edit Keywords. Notice our default bid is still 5 cents for this example. And now let's type in antique table. If you wish, you can estimate the search traffic at this point. It's a pretty rough estimate, so I wouldn't take it too seriously, but you may find it somewhat interesting. Note that it gives you broad overview of search volume. The green on this bar represents that volume, and the more a term is searched for, that is, the more popular it is, the more green you'll see. So here the estimated ad position at your 5 cents per click is between 16 and 20 in the results. Let's save the changes. And that's how you set your keywords. Now let's make the ad at least vaguely relevant. First we'll go to Add Variations and click on it. Okay, let's edit this. Actions, Edit. Okay, let's make this positive. Since we're assuming that people are searching for antique tables, let's just make the headline Antique Table. To keep it fairly simple for now, let's make the description line 1 if you're looking for antique tables. Is that going to fit? No. Let's make it if you're looking for an antique, then continue line 2, table, this site may help. Okay, that works. Now for the display URL. Now for this sample advertisement, I don't have a site about antique tables, but I can use an existing one. There's nothing wrong with that, and the site owner will just be getting some free advertising. So let me paste in a URL I copied onto the clipboard earlier, the #1 Google result. So they'll get a bit more traffic. Then I'll copy that and paste it into the destination URL block. Now let's save as. So now the ad is up and running, and it's relevant to the keywords we picked. There's the ad, as you can see, in the Antique Tables ad group, part of the advertising campaign, Antique Tables. Remember, you can do multiple ad groups in one advertising campaign, and you can certainly have as many advertising campaigns as you want. But just keep in mind that it's better to structure things logically and add groups and keywords together that are related to one another. That makes navigation easier and the whole process works better. Setting up your campaign, running your campaign, getting reports, and so forth. It's really all about optimizing results and making it as easy as possible. That's a quick demonstration of the heart of the Google AdWords system. Now in campaign management, there is also a tools area with quite a few tools, as you can see, including a tool for giving you keyword suggestions and managing negative keywords. Negative keywords are words you don't want to be associated with. For example, let's say you were advertising iPods and you had free as a negative keyword. If someone is searching for free iPods, your ad would not appear even though this assumes you do have iPod for a keyword. It's a way to make sure that your ad only appears in a context that you want. We'll cover this more in depth later on. Another tool is site exclusion. This allows you to select the sites you don't want to appear on. Then there's Traffic Estimator, which we looked at briefly earlier on in this tutorial, and several other tools, as you can see. There's also a tab for conversion tracking. This is really a light version of analytics. It's very easy to get up and running with your account, and it gives you useful statistics and details on how profitable your campaign is. But when you really want to go into detail on the statistics, analytics is much more involved. Looking briefly at the main tabs again, we've already had a brief look at reports and the different areas of Report Center and Create Reports. Analytics needs to be set up on your website for that to be live. And My Account is really just for housekeeping, but here's a quick look through that. So that's a walkthrough of the Google AdWords account system, and as you can see, there's really a huge amount of information and detail there. It can get very involved and very advanced. It's important when you begin to advertise that you really understand the basic overview concepts. Most importantly, know the difference between the different campaign types, keyword-targeted and site-targeted campaigns, what exactly a campaign is, and what an ad group is. An advertising campaign is the overarching concept, but understand that ad campaigns can have multiple ad groups, and individual ad groups have multiple ads related either to specific sites or specific keywords. We'll go through this again in subsequent videos, and as you use your account regularly and watch the videos, you'll become much more familiar and comfortable with this process until it becomes second nature. But in the beginning, it can be a bit overwhelming. And that's our detailed walkthrough of the Google AdWords service.